Assalamualaikum. Today in this lecture we are going to study tongue, the anatomy of tongue. In this lecture we will study detailed view of the muscles of the tongue, their origin, their insertion, their nerve supply, the papillae present on the tongue, the arterial supply of the tongue, and the innervation of the tongue. So, tongue is a mass of striated muscles. We can say that these are the skeletal striated muscles. Those are covered with mucous membrane, and these are divided by median fibrous septum. These central line present between in at the median side of the tongue. This is the median fibrous septum that divides the tongue into two equal parts. So now we'll see the muscles of the tongue. There are two types of muscles in our tongue: intrinsic muscles and extrinsic muscles. Intrinsic muscles are those muscles which do not go beyond the out of the mouth, and extrinsic muscles are the muscles that go out of the mouth. So in intrinsic muscles there are longitudinal, transverse, and vertical. These muscles are present in a longitudinal, in a transverse, and in a vertical manner. I'll explain all these muscles with diagram in the next slide. So first we'll discuss the origin and insertion of these muscles. The origin of these muscles is medial septum and submucosal layer. These muscles insert at the mucosa membrane, and the nerve supply of this muscle is hypoglossal nerve. So now in the next slide I will explain these muscles. So the muscles, if we see closely, the muscles which are present over here in this manner, these are the transverse muscles, and the muscles which are present in this manner, these are the vertical muscles, and those muscles which are present in this manner, these are the longitudinal muscles. So these were our intrinsic muscles. Now we will see to go toward the extrinsic muscles of the tongue. So, in extrinsic muscles, there are four muscles, that is genioglossus, hyoglossus, styloglossus, and palatoglossus. So, the origin, we'll discuss the origin, insertion, and nerve supply of these muscles. So, their origin is in their name. If we study the genio part represent that the origin of this muscle is at the superior genial spine of the mandible. The next muscle, hyoglossus. So the hyo part represent that the origin of this muscle is at the body of hyoid bone and at the greater comma of hyoid bone. Next, styloglossus. So stylo represent the styloid process of the temporal bone. So the origin of this muscle is at the styloid process of the temporal bone. So all these three muscles insert at blending with each other. All of these muscles blend with each other. And the next one is platoglossus muscle. That plato represent the palatine aponeurosis. So the origin of this muscle is palatine aponeurosis, and that insert at the lateral sides of the tongue. So the nerve supply of these muscles is hypoglossal nerve. Now we'll see this in a picture. If we can see the muscles which are present at just lateral to the median septum, these are the genioglossus muscles. Then lateral to the genioglossus muscle, these long muscles present over there, these are the hyoglossus muscles. And then above the hyoglossus muscle, this round mass over here, this round mass over here, this is the styloglossus muscle. And above the styloglossus muscle, at the lateral sides of the tongue, at here and at this point, these are the platoglossus muscles. This was from the posterior view. Now I'll show you the lateral view of the tongue. So we see in this picture, this side is the dorsum of the tongue, this over here, and then the purple structure, that is the styloglossus. That the origin of this muscle is over here, the styloid process. And the next one, this muscle, the muscle in the green, this is hyoglossus muscle that is attached with the hyoid bone. The origin of this muscle is hyoid bone. And then this blue, that muscle that is present in this blue structure, this is genoglossus. And The origin of this muscle is genial process of the mandible. Next is papillae. What is a papillae? A papillae is a tiny raised protrusion on the tongue that contains taste bud. Any tiny protrusion that is present on our tongue which contains the taste bud, so we can feel the taste of the food, that are papillae. There are three types of papillae which are present on the upper surface of anterior two-third of the tongue. These three papillae are filiform and fungiform and violet. So the filiform is present on the lateral side of the tongue, at this side, lateral side of the tongue, and fungiform is present at the median side, just lateral to the median fibrous septum, and the valid papillae are present in front of the sulcus terminalis. What is sulcus terminalis? Sulcus terminalis is a separation between the anterior two-third and the posterior third of the tongue. That is a V-shaped groove present over here. This is the V-shaped groove. This one is the V-shaped groove. Next, we will see the blood supply of the tongue. The blood supply of the tongue is the major blood supply is the lingual artery that supplies the whole tongue. That is the branch of the jugular artery. And then there are minor blood supply arteries that are tonsillar artery and the ascending pharyngeal artery. The tonsillar artery is the branch of facial artery. The venous supply is majorly the venous drainage of this tongue is majorly the lingual artery that drains into the uh, internal jugular vein. Next, we'll see the lymph drainage of this tongue. So the lymph from the tip is drained into the submental lymph nodes. The lymph from the sides of the anterior two-third, for the lateral side of the anterior two-third, that drain into the submandibular lymph nodes, and the lymph from the posterior third drains into the deep cervical lymph nodes. Now we'll talk about this innervation, that sensory innervation of the tongue. So the anterior two-third of the tongue, the control of the muscles that is innervated by the lingual nerve. The lingual nerve, through the action of the anterior two-third of the tongue, is controlled by the lingual nerve. The next one is chorda tympani. The chorda tympani, this nerve control the sense of taste from the anterior two-third of the tongue. And the last one, glossopharyngeal nerve. The glossopharyngeal nerve controls the action and also sense the taste from the lateral third part of the tongue. So this was all from the today's topic, tongue. Hope you like the video. Kindly like, subscribe and share the video for further such content.